half a day and buenas tardes. Todos hamzu para I finatan mizu pagu. It's my extreme privilege to be here and to publicly address a deserving young man who's interned in our office. And for the benefit of those who may be residing off island or watching, my name is Will Castro, and I serve in the 34th Guam Legislature. And today is an auspicious occasion for our family, our team. It's a certificate of recognition that will be presented to a deserving young man that I'll speak about in a moment. But just some background, for many years, whether I was working for former Speaker Judy T. Wanpat, when she was the Speaker, we've had an internship program called the Public Policy Institute. And when we had the privilege to serve up in Adelup as one of the cabinet officials, I also had an emerging leaders program thanks to former Director Kate, or Deputy Director from DOC. And then so we continued that opportunity to bring in deserving young men and women or people who had a desire to make a difference, notwithstanding how old they were or some of the limitations they may be facing, whether it's a challenge economically or the long struggle they have in high school, or they're coming back from college, but just wanted that exposure. And so this year, again, we continued that tradition of bringing in students. And I'm partial, of course, because I'm a teacher by vocation. So my first love is teaching. And, Deborah, my better half, said, you really just created another classroom for you to be able to touch the lives of deserving students, or any student for that matter. And so I think she was right, partially, but I think the blessing really is in the reverse. It's these young men and women, like Keandra McDonald, are actually having lasting, very indelible, leaving indelible marks in my heart and in my mind. And I'm learning so much from these folks. And so today is designed, it's dedicated to Mr. Jeramiah T. Pinaula. So can you come up here, Jeremiah? It's our young intern, and he's going back to St. Mary's in California. He's an FD graduate, and it's so touching. I'm going to talk a lot about all the good things he's done, but it's so personally meaningful to me. Chief of Staff, can I have the Chief of Staff come up here? Are you sure, Howard Cruz? And so it's meaningful to me because Jeremiah's father is my classmate, and we played football together, and we grew up together in the village. And his mother, your beautiful wife, of course I know, and so it's nice to see that my peer group, people that I respect, are able to bring up really, really awesome members of this community. And so let me go ahead and dispense first with the certificate and say a few more nice things about this young man. And I'll have the Chief of Staff in my office also say some commendatory remarks. And so this is an official certificate of the Guam Legislature. It's certificate number 271-34, issued by the Committee on Rules, introduced by myself and endorsed by the 14 other senators of the 34th Guam Legislature, and is presented to Jeramiah T. Pinaula for his 2018 summer internship from June to August 2018, for the time and services that he's had and contributed as an intern to my office in particular. But he also extended himself and serviced the body, whether it was here in the public hearings or standing by in the media room to provide copies, and he just made himself accessible. And so this was signed by the Speaker, the Honorable Benjamin J.F. Cruz, countersigned by the chairperson of the Committee on Rules, my colleague Regine Biscoe-Lee, and of course signed by yours truly. And so maybe, Chief, if you could take a moment to honor the young man.
All right, Jeremiah's a very bright young man. He's inspired by his parents, and I always like to say, always remain to be inspired, and one day people will look up to you as inspiration. So continue the good work, go back, get that degree. Knowledge is power, and we'll be expecting you back. I look at you as being one of our future leaders of Guam, and thank you for serving the people of Guam in the short time you're here.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Awesome. And if I can ask his mom and dad to come up here, we'll take a group photo. And as you're making your way up here, I want to say a few more remarks that, my observation of the fine son you raised. And so being a father of four, I can see, and I've actually taught in the public and private school system. I like to say I taught some of the brightest kids that represented the region in a lot of academic circles. And I've also taught a lot of really talented athletes. And then I didn't realize that your son, Jeremiah, also played for the Raiders, and he also played for FD. And as a matter of fact, his uncle, his mentor, one of his mentors is Benny Pinaula, the Deputy Director of Public Health. But your son, if you don't already know, I'm sure you know, but I would like the world to see, what a fine gentleman looks like in terms of not what they see, but what they not exterior, but through conduct, through his conduct. He's diligent. He was able to work really hard through the night on a project as a young man, as a college student, putting together some policy, some briefing papers. He's humble. He's humble. He's obviously very attractive. So he's handsome, he's humble, he's hardworking, he's strong, and he's very compassionate. And, from a father to a father, he's a good kid. So, I try not to get all worked up at things like this, but it just means so much to me and to my team. And on behalf of the 34th Guam Legislature, you're not going away. You're going to take a short break and come back in December and work for us. And, and thank you. And I'm looking at you and I'm thanking you. Thank you. We're good here. Thank you very much on behalf of the 34th Guam Legislature.